keep in mind, just because you need to win to get me the achievement doesn't mean you have to let me win the first game. You can let me win on the second time we play. Okay, maybe gives me some tips regarding my loadout. Oh, what? I forget how to zoom in. I can, like, go up and down, but... Ah. I am getting a bit of an echo, but it's not nearly as bad as I was expecting. Taking a look at the size of the map, I think I already kind of have a good idea of where I should set up. The dimensions of the map are really helping me to pick some good places here. I've got to say though, if you compare the original maps from the XCOM 1 to how lovingly rendered a lot of these maps are in XCOM 2, it's a little bit like night and day. Like these embers floating up through the snow, slightly broken and destroyed cargo and stuff like that. It's clear they wanted to go for a less pristine version of like that generic sci-fi thing we got used to. Oh, yeah. I know it's a long run. That's why I'm making you do it. Oh, did I get rid of that? Damn it. Yeah, I got rid of my... Ah, damn. Okay, okay. Not to worry. I've still got someone who can handle something similar. Okay, and I think that's nearly my turn. Go, go, Carlos, go! There we go. Covering fire, eh? Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if you're in the burning city or in the building that looks like it's in Pripyat. By the way, did you check out that Chernobyl miniseries from HBO? Well, you know that I never got into Game of Thrones for a number of reasons, but my brother basically said that as the Chernobyl TV show was just coming out, HBO was screwing the pooch with Game of Thrones. Like, it just started to get really shit when Chernobyl came out. So a lot of people have accepted Chernobyl as HBO's, apology for Game of Thrones. It's really good. As soon as it's over, you're like, oh my god, I watched it too quickly. And maybe that was me, because, I didn't realize there's only 5 episodes. But there is not a single wasted second in it. If anything, like, every single moment when there's no dialogue or anything else is giving you, like, all this visual information and this dread, and oh, it's so good. In fact, despite me watching a few other things a couple of months ago, when I had a little bit of time, it's the only thing that made me really think, wow, there's some real art put into this filmmaking. The only other thing that really got me was, like, the Snowpiercer TV show. They've made a TV show out of it, because there's a movie. There is the movie that's fantastic, and the movie is its own thing. I won't say that the TV show is better than the movie, because it's not, and it's very comfortable being its own thing. There's a lot of really cool stuff they could have done to try to usurp the movie. They could have tried to outdo the movie on a lot of the scenes that they kind of have in common, but instead they pay to what is in the movie while not trying to outdo it in any way. So that's really nice. I don't know how much you know about the lore of it, but one of the punishments that they have for ne'er-do-wells, or, to keep the peace when someone has done something illegal, is they'll stick someone's arm out port in the train and just wait until it's become frozen, bring the arm back in, and then lop it off with a hammer. Yeah. And the scene where that happens in the movie is, like, this incredible shock. That is one of the few scenes that they try to redo in the TV show, and they don't try to make it bigger or better or do anything else like that in the TV show version. There's a lot of important revelations that happen in the movie that they've not even touched or tried to redo in the TV show yet. Instead, the TV show is more focused on the political machinations, etc., of this, planned utopia that is actually more of a fascist state. So one of the cool things it gets to do is, because it's dealing with this one train where everyone who paid for their tickets to get on, paid this exorbitant price because they had enough money to invest in the company when it was, when the world was still okay, they get to be in first class. And then the rest of everyone else is in one of the other 2 classes, and or a worker that the, place just happens to need. So it's able to talk about class warfare and do all that stuff from the eyes of the only detective left on, like, basically on the planet. The only person who happened to board the train who's a detective, but wasn't on the train's, original staff. He's one of the tailies, one of the 1,000 or so that boarded illegally as the train was leaving and got on the back tail end of the train that was meant to be for cargo. The train never intended those people to be on board, so there's not enough resources for them, so they feed them what's left over, and basically use them occasionally for, like, when they find someone who's really smart or talented in the tail, they'll bring them forward and enroll them in the classes and so forth for, becoming engineers or whatever the train needs. Or breachmen who are like the firefighters. Basically, when there's a breach on the train that's letting the cold in, they'll send out a guy in a special suit to withstand the cold to go and repair the breach. what the show does smartly is it realizes it has a lot more time than like 2 hours to explore what could happen on a train like this, and it uses that time to explore the interactions between the different classes and groups and professions. So I love the fact that both of the movie and the TV show exist, and I love the fact that I don't have to live in a world where I just get both. TV show is actually really damn good. There's only been 2 times when somebody's made a decision that made, why the f are you doing that? And considering that I've seen both seasons, and it made me feel like I was always interested in seeing what happened next. Whereas there's a TV show called Sense8 by the Wachowski brothers that made me feel like I was often not interested in seeing the next episode. I'm like, really? Is this what we're going to have more of? Sense8 has a really cool premise that it somehow manages to bog down. And then when they finally get to the movie that ends it off, it gets all good again. But I feel like the Wachowskis, and they're not brothers anymore, like Wachowski brother and sister, I guess. I feel like the Wachowskis remembered all of a sudden how to do pacing when they had a movie-length thing to work with. Because basically, after finishing the first and nearly second season, Netflix was like, yeah, your TV show's too expensive. We're not going to pay for it anymore. And then there was basically a fan revolt. And Wachowski said, well, what if we just, finish it up quickly with a movie that's only in 1 location instead of 8? Because one thing that was making the show expensive was the fact that there was, 8 locations they were filming in. I'll give you a quick rundown of the coolest thing they do with the premise and ask you, how could you possibly mess this up? People who can be telepathic with other people. Basically, you have a mutation of humans which can share their experiences with each other because of their telepathic mutation. And the government, who knows about them, is trying to weaponize them as suicidal, telepathic, zombie assassins for hire. Basically, they've got one government agent who is one of these telepaths, who after lobotomizing these, telepaths, is able to then remotely control them to use them as suicidal, zombie-type assassins. And that's a pretty freaking cool premise, or, concept, or whatever you'd have it. How do you mess up? Wachowskis, how do you mess that up? Right? The simple answer is, there is, and I'm pretty liberal, I'm pretty much an ally when it comes to identity politics and all that stuff with LGBTQ. The thing is, there is a lot of that messaging, so the TV show might be more enjoyable if you are an ardent supporter of a lot of that stuff. But as somebody who is an ally, somebody who considers myself like an LGBT ally and, a feminist and all that, I did find that it spent quite a bit of time on that aspect of a TV show. I'm not going to say that, makes it a bad TV show, but it did take away from the experience for me because it felt like the